What widely accepted life hack is actually terrible advice? Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the Vancher channel. Also, please share your thoughts on this video in the comments. Let's get started. Story 1. Life hacks that involve exploiting resources intended for the common good. Like, sure, you don't have to buy creamer for your coffee at home if you take it from your office, but the impression you make isn't worth the savings. Answer. Tangentially related. I have a modest income, teacher, cannot go on big vacations. My siblings' mom want to travel every year. I don't go. My eldest sister suggested I go to food banks to save on grocery money so I can go with them. This same sibling could just outright pay for me as she's a multi-millionaire, but I digress. I can't believe the nerve of some people, and I can't believe I'm related to them. Story 2. Just waking up early doesn't make you productive. It will make you worse if you genuinely need the rest. Edit, I said just. It's fine to get up if you have a good reason, but being forced or shamed into waking up early isn't the same thing. Answer. People have such odd conceptions about what is productive and lazy. For years, I worked in a crap job where I worked at nights because the site was closed for public, and when it opened in the morning, it was my cue to go home and get some sleep. I ran into multiple cases where I told I went to sleep at 7 and woke up in the afternoon and got some kind of a pep talk about how it was somehow lazy. OTOH, I know a lot of people who wake up early, go to work, and then waste time browsing the web or their phones until they're forced to work. Story 3. Anything that involves a detox. Your liver and kidneys exist for that exclusive purpose. Drinking a shot of apple cider vinegar mixed with olive oil and maple syrup isn't going to miraculously cleanse your blood of impurities. Story 4. Most tricks that involve self-defense are extremely dangerous if you use it in a real situation. If you're worried about that, just learn how to fight. Answer. Often situational and environmental awareness will prevent the situation. Walking around in well-lit areas, scanning the area and maintaining awareness of your surroundings, getting a rideshare or taxi after leaving a bar, etc., can often prevent a bad situation from happening. I attended a self-defense workshop led by a local cop, and this was half the focus of the training. Story 5. Most cleaning hacks are a good way to either light your house on fire, create accidental tear mustard, other weaponized gases, give yourself chemical burns, ruin your floors, appliances, furniture, etc., and at the very best, just creates more work for you than there needs to be. I was a professional cleaner for years. Most cleaning supplies do their jobs well, without needing help from other cleaning supplies or intense scrubbing. Just follow directions on the bottle and you're golden, Lowell. If you want to try out different products each cleaning to see which one you like best, go for it. Just don't mix them. Story 6. You can use WD-40 for hundreds of different things. Nope, it's really bad for certain things. Locks, bike chains, anything rubber or wood or painted. I was brought up believing it's a cure-all for most household, automotive problems, when often it makes the problem worse. Answer. Are we family? WD-40 is to my dad what Windex is to Tula's dad in my big fat Greek wedding. He even used to put it on my eczema when I was a kid, which surprisingly did take the edge off the itching, and still insists I rub a half-second spray's worth on my forehead when I have a migraine. He also thinks I should replace my blow-dry accelerator spray with WD-40 since they do the same thing. But A, WD-40 doesn't have a heat protectant, and B, can you imagine getting a professional blowout and having your stylist start spraying your hair with WD-40? Story 7. Start Botox and filler young, it's preventative. It actually ages you faster. You start using different muscles in the face to smile, etc., and so you will start getting wrinkles under your eyes or nose, which you wouldn't have gotten until much later. Filler microscopically stretches the skin. It also doesn't fully dissolve like they said it would, so it actually will migrate to different pockets in the face, leaving your face looking puffy and lumpy. Too many actives and lasers will thin the skin, also making you appear much older. Answer. Yeah, I have Tourette's syndrome and Botox is, honest to God, a common treatment, at least at my severity level, for tics, especially of the scalp and face, because they can make it hard to see, give you headaches, TMJ, etc. But from what I've heard, you still look weird because now your forehead actually stands out more because it's not moving, if that makes sense. Story 8. People at work will often tell you to never apologize. They say that it's bad for your brand. This advice is all over LinkedIn. They'll say things like, Instead of apologizing for being late with a deliverable, thank them for their patience. This is borderline sociopathic advice. It's cruel, it's petty, and worst of all, it doesn't work. If you've done something worth apologizing for, just apologize. Answer: I feel like there's an extent to that. People want to feel appreciated, and someone constantly apologizing for things can be exhausting, especially when you have to console them. I'd rather have someone thank me for being understanding than profusely apologize. But you are right, when someone is done that is messed up or horrible, a proper apology is needed and not just a "I'm sorry." Story 9. Any intimacy advice about how to please your partner that doesn't involve directly communicating with them. Story 10. I've seen it said by a few younger people that one should turn their hazard lights on when driving on the highway because it makes them more visible. Don't do this. On top of no longer being able to use the turning signals, some cars will not turn on brake lights when the hazards are on, which, on the highway, it's extremely dangerous. Plus, nobody else knows why the hazards are on, adding more chaos to highway driving. Just follow basic highway etiquette. You don't need to invent new rules of the road that only you are aware of. Answer: I see people do that every now and again, and it's honestly frustrating because my first thought is, what's going on, with some degree of concern. We can see you on the highway just fine, assuming your lights are on and in good and working order. If you have hazards on, everyone is going to assume something is going on, and if it appears nothing is, it's a false alarm. Story 11. I have a coworker who aims for a specific number of work hours to avoid getting pushed into another tax bracket. He actually believes that he would take a huge pay cut if he worked too much OT. Answer: progressive tax brackets can be so hard for folks to intuitively grasp. They see the top number and assume it applies to all income, rather than just the excess above the line. On the flip side, I have heard firsthand accounts of avoiding too much OT because it would tip someone past the cutoff for an income-restricted service. But that's why the best of those taper away rather than cut off from full to nothing when someone has $1 too much income. Story 12. That entire genre of just follow your passion and the money will follow career advice. It's not a hack. It's a financial sacrifice. Following your passion without any market research or skill development is just a fast track to being passionate, broke, and resentful of the thing you once loved. The real hack is often finding something you don't dislike that pays well, and then using the stability and money from that to fund your actual passion. Story 13. Any advice from Rich Dad, Poor Dad books. It runs the gamut from just stupid to borderline fraud. Edit, spelling. Story 14. I've had people tell me not to get a raise because, in the end, you will lose out on money thanks to paying more taxes. People don't understand how taxes work. Story 15. The fake it till you make it advice can backfire hard. Sometimes you really do need to learn before pretending you know. Story 16. Pretty much anything telling you that frolicking in nature is a replacement for medication. Your diabetes, your cancer, your bipolar disorder aren't going to stop being a thing because some big titty blonde white woman talking about raw vegan diets and chakras tells you it will. It's important to get out once in a while. Certainly do that, but do it while taking your meds. However, it's dangerous advice from dangerous grifters and morons to tell you to get off your meds. Answer: it also massively confuses what I feel should be the message for mental health. Going outside is not a cure. If you have an issue with your brain, you need actual medication. Time in nature is great care advice. It's really good for maintaining your mental health. But it won't fix an active problem. But I feel people confuse this and either believe it is a cure or that it will make zero difference. Both are bad. I dislike seeing people resistant to medication and instead trying silly cures. Medication exists for a reason. But I also dislike seeing people start medication and then proceed to make no lifestyle changes, and as a result, make zero progress. The approach should be balanced. Although I feel the healthcare system should be better at explaining the necessary combined arms approach. Story 17. Do what you love, and you will never work a day in your life. You just end up hating what you used to enjoy. Story 18. Just keep handing out your resume is one I heard a lot growing up, and I've heard people say like, I applied to 90 places last week. A targeted resume with a proper cover letter is worth 100 blind resume drops. Answer: I've actually heard that certain companies will blacklist you if you put in too many applications, and then they'll share that with other similar companies in the area. They reject anything that has your name on it after a while, and you go from having your foot in the door to just losing that foot entirely. The company I work for does it, and they'll even do it to their own employees to keep them in the same spot forever. Story 19. Not taking a pay increase because it bumps you into a higher tax bracket. That's not how taxes work, and people are leaving money on the table, thinking they're gaming the system. Story 20. Wake up an hour earlier to work out. Stay up an hour later to clean the house. So now you're getting 4 hours of sleep at night. Story 21. Pretty much 9 of the charisma hacks or social tips you hear from online gurus just make you seem phony, slimy, and manipulative. I've met people who clearly tried to put that stuff into practice, and you can smell it from a mile away. Real charisma isn't a checklist. It's the ability to ad-lib, read a room, and genuinely connect. You can't learn that from a YouTube video. Story 22. I've seen numerous suggestions from people to give a medication and just go frolic in nature and become a ruminant or something. This is awful advice from bad people. Story 23. Superfruits. It doesn't exist. It's just fruit or berry like any other and won't replace your month's worth of vitamin, minerals, etc. intake. Also, it doesn't have miraculous antioxidant properties to solve all your problem. There is no silver bullet. Story 24. Reddit's love for not speaking with police. I mean, yeah, if your roommate ends up dead, lawyer up before talking. When you get busted for 71 and a 55 telling the cop, I don't answer questions, will only guarantee you the ticket. By friendly and respectful, and you might get a warning. Story 25. Moss grows on the northern side of trees. No, it doesn't. Moss will grow on any side of the tree if the conditions are right. Story 26. Pineapple. It doesn't work, guys. Just be hydrated and eat a diet with good variety of foods and go to the doctor if you're being told it tastes like battery acid. Also using cold water to wash cum off. Edit off the human body. It doesn't matter, use warm water. Story 27. They charge more for weddings. Tell the venue it's for a family reunion. Not a wedding, guys. Do not do this. First of all, it's fraud. Don't start your married life with fraud. Second, this will not go the way you think it will. These are event professionals. Part of their job is having a keen sense of people. They know how people act before weddings versus before a reunion or a birthday. They understand this stuff way more than you do. They're not stupid, you are, for trying to fool them. Some venues will straight up cancel your wedding the day of without notice if they discover you lied to them and breached the contract. Also, stop assuming a wedding is just price gauging. You don't hire photographers very often and ask them to give you customized photo albums, do you? A tired cake that serves 100 people and has to be secured in a van and driven to a catering hall is going to cost more than other cakes. This is common sense. A wedding is more work for the venue, more liability on the venue, and you think that calling it a birthday party or family reunion is somehow going to circumvent that for the same level of service. It won't. Answer this. I have a friend that did event photography for years. The one event he would not do was weddings. Why? 1, it's hard to do a good job shooting most weddings alone. He only worked alone and had no interest in hiring someone. 2, expectations are super high for weddings, as are the demands. 3, you get one chance to get someone's once-in-a-lifetime, we hope, event captured on film digitally. No sorries, no do-overs, no second chances. It was too stressful and not fun for him. He preferred to keep to corporate events, baptisms, bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, etc. Vendors charge more for the wedding because it takes a lot more to do weddings. Story 28. Just be yourself sounds sweet, but falls apart when you're still figuring out who that even is. It puts pressure on people to stay the same instead of growing. Answer. Perhaps more effective reframing is accept yourself or temet noshe, know thyself. Self-reflection is how we grow and improve as humans by understanding our values, character, faults, limitations, and idiosyncrasies, and how to live with and improve that in the world around us. Easier said than done, for sure. I never truly understood it until a neurodivergence diagnosis and subsequent research shed so much light on the decades before. Now I'm more myself than ever, fully weird and all, and it's a magnetic quality of life. Story 29. I don't know if this really answers the question, but growing up, I thought advice from adults was golden prophetical speech. Now that I'm an adult myself, I'm realizing how many of them were totally full of shoot and confidently just lying to both themselves and me. Story 30. Never go to bed angry. I don't know if it's considered a life hack or not, but it's stupid. What if you're angry because you're tired? We let children sleep when they're grumpy, but now that I'm a married adult, I gotta be tired and forced to talk. Story 31. Multitasking. Combining activities to save time. There are many cases where it is very detrimental and will make you underperform big time, like mixing jogging with learning a new skill with an audiobook. Good. But working while learning a new skill, audio or video, bad. Because active listening is required to not just know, but to understand and apply. Story 32. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Baking soda and vinegar fizzes and turns into water. It is not a cleaning miracle. Story 33. Any variant of put your kitchen sink sponge in the microwave to sanitize it. Originally, it was drop your kitchen sponge into boiling water to sanitize it. But then the microwave got involved. Both are kind of bad advice because the porous nature of the sponge will not allow it to stay sanitary for very long, and with the notable possibility of causing a fire in the microwave. Just replace the sponge from time to time, or use cotton washcloths. Replace daily and launder them regularly. Story 34. If you want to detox, just drink more water, cut out adult beverage, eat a huge salad with leafy greens and lots of fruit, and then your regular food for a few days. The water and veggies and fruit will clear you out nicely. Story 35. Taking on massive student loans straight out of high school. Work in the field for a year before taking out a mortgage on your future. Story 36. For people with chronic life-threatening conditions, ditching the health insurance. You need health insurance. Story 37. Magic erasers being used for everything. They're done sandpaper and the surface is being ruined. I dislike them so much and how everyone suggests them. Story 38. Quit your job and travel the world. Sure, if you have a trust fund or no responsibilities. For most people, it's quit your job and panic in a hostel 2 months later. Story 39. Anything that states mixing vinegar and baking soda for cleaning. They literally neutralize each other. Nothing gained. Use one or the other or something else. Story 40. Baking soda and vinegar as cleaning aid. While on their own, both are good for different cleaning purposes. If you combine them, they neutralize each other in a satisfying fizzle, but otherwise become nearly useless for cleaning. Story 41. Question everything. Just no. That's the kind of logic that leads to flat earthers and Holocaust deniers. It's wiser to question certain things, like claims made by politicians or promises from insurance companies. But if you question everything, you end up an insufferable conspiracy theorist. Story 42. I tried setting my watch 5 minutes early so I get places on time, but I can't fool myself any more than I can tickle myself. I'm smarter than me. Maybe not terrible advice, but pointless. Story 43. To work yourself to passing or hustle culture. To make work your life to succeed, nah, that's a one-way ticket to burnout and depression, Noel. Story 44. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Eat breakfast to kickstart your metabolism, especially when given as weight loss advice. Besides the obvious fact that the last thing a person who is trying to lose weight needs is being told to eat one more meal per day than they already do, skipping breakfast and eating only lunch and dinner, say at noon and 8 p.m., simply results in a 16-1-8 intermittent fasting schedule, which is equally as effective for weight loss at dividing the same total calories into 3 meals. Also, metabolism kickstarts are just not a thing. Eating a breakfast will not make your body require more energy per hour for the rest of the day, which would have to happen for that additional caloric intake to result in a net calorie expenditure. Story 45. Fake it till you make it in professional settings. You're just setting yourself up to be exposed later when you actually need to deliver. Answer: A, depends how you mean fake it. I knew I'd always be a great software developer, but I was only ever self-taught. So my first resume, I lied my jerk off and had some friends be my professional references. I got the job, made sure to learn on the job and study while at home. I absolutely made it. When I left that job, I had enough legit experience and great references that it led to a better job. Now I make 200K. Still no degree. I think it depends how the person interprets fake it. Like if they just expect to coast in a job they have no knowledge or drive to learn, then yes, they'll be uncovered. But if you're faking it to legitimately be good at the job and spending your time getting better and learning, then yes, fake it till you make it. Story 46. Putting your phone in rice. Power it off, pull the SIM, dry with a fan and time. Rice is just dusty hope. Story 47. Working on top of your normal working hours and calling it hustling. It's not hustling, Sharon. You're just a fudge idiot. Story 48. My sister has 2 car payments, about 20K in credit card debt, and they rent. Her life is falling apart because they can't afford their month-to-month lives. Yet brags about 300K in her thrift savings, Gov 401K. Her father-in-law tells them that you never draw from retirement. I get it, but in this case, I think it's horrible advice. Story 49. Not paying your bills. This will come back to haunt you for a very long time. It will destroy your credit, and any resulting bankruptcies and lawsuits will show up on a Lexus report way longer than 7 years. If you cannot pay, call your lenders. Speak to them. Communicate. Very often, deferments can be made. Refinancing may make sense. Go to your bank credit union. Anyone who is promising you to take care of it is most likely lying to you. Story 50. If it's a life hack, it's probably a bad idea. If it were good advice, it would be presented as such. Story 51. Wait to have kids. For some people, it works well, but what I can observe is the exact opposite for most. The older you get, the harder it becomes both money and time-wise. Edit. I mean by that all my friends who got their kids in their early 20s and settled and very relaxed 15 years later. The one who did not and are having their kids close to 40 are going through hell both physically and mentally with what I feel, much less recovery. Story 52. What doesn't eliminate you makes you stronger. Yeah, maybe. But maybe it harms your psyche and adds to mental instability. All pressure isn't equal and good. Story 53. Don't lie about being unemployed by claiming you had a very secret job that an NDA prevents you from saying anything about. I keep hearing that mentioned on Reddit for how to explain gaps in a resume. Your employer doesn't care that you were out of work for a bit, but definitely cares if you drop that bold-faced lie. Story 54. I don't know how widely accepted it is, but I've seen posts about putting a hoodie on backwards and using the hood as a snack bowl, so only do you look like an idiot, now you've got a greasy and probably stained hoodie to deal with. How is that easier than just washing a bowl? Story 55. Any cool trick to outsmart the legal system is horseshit. If you know someone whose one cool trick worked, it's because they just accidentally walked backwards into following the actual rules. There is no magic system overturning trick that renders lawyers and judges helpless to move against you. Please understand that the legal system was created by centuries of the most pedantic, stubborn people in society arguing and trying to get one over on their opponents over the last several hundred years. If there ever was a loophole, it would be closed by now. If you think there's a new loophole because your situation is different and it's the modern era, I promise you that the hundreds of lawyers arguing cases just like yours every day in your exact region have thought of that and tried it. If you have a legal matter and you want it to go well, either hire a lawyer or read the pertinent procedural rules yourself and then follow them. Story 56. For me, follow your passion is terrible advice because most people discover passion after building skills and stability, not by quitting everything to chase a vague dream that ignores bills and reality. Story 57. I've seen a few different posts saying to quickly win an argument, start laughing at the other person. It'll disarm and embarrass them. I'm convinced if it's a conversation worth having, any quick hack to win is just going to damage the relationship. If it's not worth having, then you shouldn't even be worried about winning. Story 58. I've recently found out that people thaw meats in their sinks, on their counters instead of the fridge. Apparently this is very common. Please don't do this. Holy shoot. Story 59. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. So from my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. Story 60. Brushing your teeth in the shower to save water. It doesn't save water or time, even if you keep your faucet tap on for the entire brushing session. The amount of water brushing your teeth actually needs is minimal. Story 61. Any life hack that starts with filling your toilet sinks with entire containers of cleaning supplies looking at you 5 Minecrafts. Story 62. There is far too much emphasis and glorification of multitasking. Most people can learn to multitask when needed, but going back to being able to focus on one task is very difficult. Story 63. It's quite clear that this comment section completely misunderstood the assignment or has zero clue what a life hack is. Story 64. Happy wife, happy life. No. You need a marriage where both people are satisfied and fulfilled, not focused on making sure one person isn't mad. This obviously goes for husbands too. Story 65. The one with using the hole in a pasta spoon to measure portion size. You don't know me. You don't know how much pasta I want to eat. You don't know my uncanny ability to drop the rest of the pasta that's not going through the hole all over the kitchen. Story 66. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is vulnerability, confusion, and just as much of a headache by the looks of it. Answer. Being ignorant to the possibility of negative outcomes is only bliss if those negative outcomes don't actually happen. You didn't needlessly worry about bad things that didn't happen. In most people's reality, most of the time, ignorance is dangerous, and not being aware of possible negative outcomes just makes people more prone to shoot decision-making. Story 67. There was a show on TV, and I think it was called Self-Defense World Championship, and they had martial arts people competing in different situations. It showed really well that staying to fight was never any good. Edit Ultimate Self-Defense Championship. On the YouTube, Story 68, so many of them, but regular ice baths spring to mind as one. For so many people, it's a terrible idea. Story 69, wearing pajamas on a flight is a terrible idea. You should be wearing clothes which would at least provide a bit of survival capability for the worst possible scenario on a flight. But then again, because of my job, my mind is always going to plan for the worst case scenario. Story 70, putting your phone in rice after it falls in water. Just take the SIM card and battery out, dry it off, and put it in front of a fan or something. Story 71, putting the dishwasher detergent directly into the tub instead of using the cup with a door that is specifically designed to hold detergent. People complain saying, they don't make them like they use tar. But it's because they are using them wrong. Fools. Edit. To make this point more complete, as your Reddit says below, putting some in the tube on the door is a good idea if you want to include detergent as part of the pre-wash cycle, but never in lieu of putting it in the latching door or cup that is specifically designed to open during the main wash cycle. Story 72. Don't water your orchids with ice cubes. I worked at a garden center for a long time, and I can't tell you how many people came in spouting that tip. It is a tropical plant and will not like frozen roots. Story 73. Sucking out the poison if a rattlesnake bites you or someone else. That's just a good way to die quicker. It was on some old Western and spread, and people actually try it. Google what you should really do. Story 74. Saving money in the bank and time in the market is better than timing the market. 2 of the worst lies. Story 75. Velocity banking videos on paying off your mortgage faster. They make assumptions that you have spare money each month, and you are using that to quickly pay down the secondary loan you used to dump a lump sum into your mortgage. Except, if you have that extra money and just overpay your mortgage with that extra money each month, you get the same result for way less hassle. Story 76. Not exactly a life hack, but the always given advice, happy wife, happy life, is overall terrible advice for a functional relationship. Story 77. DIY safe plant substance killer spray that is usually apple cider vinegar and Epsom salt, or sometimes you see a little Dawn dish soap thrown in. After repeated attempts, you might wilt or brown a plant substance for a bit. But it isn't dead. A good number of the most common weeds need the root to be eliminated. If you are keen on throwing money away and causing soil salinity poisoning, have at it. If you want it all dead and not to grow back for a year, use M43 and 254D. That will eliminate just about anything the average homeowner comes across and can be bought by anyone. It's completely safe. Don't drink it or get a shower in it and you'll be fine. If you are worried about a delicate garden, you should be hand weeding anyway. The RUPs holders and herbicide applicators of the world, thank you for coming to our TED Talk. Story 78. I got like 15 comments deep and haven't seen a single widely accepted anything, LOL. Widely accepted as scams, maybe. Story 79. That honey garlic is an effective natural antibiotic. It might help, but it's not going to cure something like MRSA or sepsis. Story 80. Any relationship advice that's not from a highly educated person on any social platform that's in a video form like Insta or TikTok. Story 81. Not paying a credit card fully to leave a balance. Pay interest on that balance to build credit. Story 82. Fake it until you make it. Lying isn't a long-term winning strategy even if you use pretty words and nice catchy phrases. Make it so you won't have to fake it. Story 83. Most hair growth thickening hacks. No, getting a professional trim every other month doesn't make hair grow longer. Shaving doesn't make your hair thicker. And no, smothering your scalp with a 70 bottle of castor oil isn't going to give you impossible hair density like all those hair influencers who are wearing very obvious extensions wigs. Story 84. Easily the ones where they say you won't need doctor-advised medicine here. If you do these things, tend to be quack advice. Story 85. Work hard to get ahead isn't really a hack so much as terrible advice. You should just work to keep your job so you can fund your hobbies and time away from work. Your employer doesn't care about you and will kick you to the curb as soon as they need to use layoffs to artificially pump the stock price for earnings season. So do the bare minimum at work and enjoy living your life when you're not at work. Life is too short, so don't give more than 40 hours a week to your employer. Also, job hop, job hop, job hop. That is the only way to get more pay. Once you hit 3 or 4 years at a place, go to a competitor and get more money if you didn't sign a non-compete. Story 86. Booking and signing contracts with vendors for your wedding, but not telling them it's for a wedding, so it's cheaper. I have gotten this advice at least 100 times since starting to plan my wedding. Most vendors have in the contract that if they show up day of and the family event, or whatever you called it, is a wedding, you are in violation of your contract and often have to pay the difference or don't get the service at all. The fact that the services are more expensive sucks, but I'm not putting myself in a situation like that to maybe save a few $100. Story 87. Lying to your wedding vendors about what kind of event you're booking them for. Things you're picking up are usually fine. Like if you're having someone pick up the cake or a catering order for a really chill outdoor wedding, fine. But if the vendor is coming to the venue, like the DJ or photographer, or you lied to the venue itself, be prepared for backlash when the day comes and they realize you lied. They could decide not to perform the service. Hair and makeup is also risky, even if you're getting ready off-site. I know it sucks that they charge more for weddings, but that's because they know a person's wedding is important and they want to give their best service. Story 88. The be your own veterinarian crowd. Some stuff is downright dangerous, and then I have to pick up the pieces, and chances are that one minor and cheaply fixed problem has now become an expensive nightmare. Garlic doesn't repel fleas, Pedialyte won't cure parvo, aspirin is not safe for all pets and can be dangerous in older pets. Benadryl straight up doesn't work for allergies. CBD is definitely not a cure-all and cannot be mixed with certain medications, like anti-seizure med phenobarbital. Coconut oil doesn't do shoot. I could write a book. Seriously. Guys, just take your pet to the fudge vet. Story 89. Not going to bed angry. Sometimes you need to just goddamn sleep on it or your mood will turn nuclear. Story 90. Don't seek higher education. Education isn't something everyone needs, but it's something most of us do. The ones who don't have enough self-motivation to go to school are the ones who need it the most. Story 91. Be the last to go to bed and first to wake up. So you are working longer and harder than everyone else to get ahead. It's complete BS. Everyone is different. If I'm well rested, I can work 4 hours and accomplish a 6-hour task. If I'm sleep deprived, might as well tell me to take all day. Story 92. Not using credit cards at all because credit is evil. The amount of people I encounter doing everything with debit cards and thinking they are better off for it is incredible. I have so many clients who pay with debit cards or will talk to me about how they are working on paying down their cards so they can switch to only using debit. I also just encounter so many people who have this idea that using a credit card is bad and using debit is the smart financial play. Let's put it simply. Paying interest is bad. Using a credit card and paying it off every month is fantastic. Free benefits, more protection, build your credit. Just turn on auto pay and spend like it's your debit card. I am about to go on vacation with all my hotel and flights paid for just from points earned on my card that I pay off every month. If I get scammed, I cancel a charge and no money leaves my account. If someone gets my card info somehow, I don't instantly get my account drained. Seriously, get a nice points card. I know there are people out there who don't have the self-control for it and are making an informed decision, but it blows my mind how many people just don't use credit as a rule with no understanding of why. Story 93. If you're stressed out, start writing a journal each day. I went through a period during COVID where I was extremely stressed and anxious all the time, as I'm sure a lot of the people were. And a friend went to me, "Why don't you try journaling to get your thoughts out?" Tried it for about 3 weeks, but I couldn't stay on top of it, and then kept thinking, I forgot to do Friday's page, or Wednesdays wasn't talking about my feelings enough for it to be useful. In short, it stressed me out more than it did without. It may just be personal preference, but it was horrendous advice for someone like me. Story 94. Eating bananas the right way, i.e., using the stem as a handle and eating it from the bottom. The premise it's based on, that's the way apes do it, is misleading. Apes showed no preference for eating bananas from the top, bottom, or middle. And by starting at the bottom, you're presented with the banana anus, which is just fudge disgusting. Story 95. Just cut out all toxic people. It sounds clean and sounds powerful, but it's a mess when you try to apply it in real life. You can't just toss them out the moment things get tough. Story 96. Just give up that fancy coffee every day and you can buy a house. Darn, man, 40 of wealth is inherited. It should be get born to the right parents and you can buy a house. Story 97. Follow your passion. Great way to stay broke and miserable. Develop skills first. Passion follows competence. Story 98. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Doing this with someone of the opposite intimacy is a quick way to get a SA charge. Doing this when working for a company is a quick way to get fired. Story 99. Mayonnaise on grilled cheese instead of butter. It makes it taste like shoot. I don't CSRE if it's one crunchier, it tastes nasty. Story 100. Do what you like and you'll never work a day in your life. Passion doesn't always provide a sustainable income. Story 101. Being an influencer or a Karen and yelling gets you a free meal or free Nintendo Switch. Surprisingly, it ends up with them having to pay anyway or getting a free ride in a police car. Story 102. Life hack, weight loss surgery. Sure, if you want to have a generalized eating disorder and gut issues for the rest of your life. Story 103. Happy wife, happy life. Making sure one person in the relationship is happy can cost the other person huge. Story 104. The starch in rice will fudge up your electronics about as much as the water, and it often gets jammed into charge ports, breaking those as well. Story 105. Not sure it's a life hack, but the advice to ghost someone or go no contact over the most perceived slight isn't self-care or preservation. It's emotional avoidance. Story 106. Get out of the comfort zone. It does not work in all contexts or for everyone. It is not inherently bad to be in the comfort zone. Story 107. If you study well in school, college life will be easier. If you study well in college, your life gets easier. Story 108. Reddit's favorite life hack. Cutting people out of your life. Even if someone is kind of annoying, you only have a limited supply of family members and lifelong friends. You're never going to go to elementary school with anyone again. Story 109. One big example is always paying off your smallest debt first for motivation, also known as the snowball method. Psychologically, it can feel good, but financially, it often costs you much more in interest than tackling the highest interest debt first. People like the quick wins, but in reality, you lose money by not attacking the most expensive debt. Story 110. The free money trick you can pull just by walking into a shop with a gun and mask. Uncle Patty is doing 15 years for that life hack. Story 111. All the career stuff that relates to getting a job. Jobs suck and are only any good for getting money. Story 112. This one is from way back. Following popular belief at the time, I ate a cigarette to beat a breathalyzer. However, the breathalyzer won. Story 113. Anything regarding eating habits. And no, I'm not talking about the genuine advice that's safe, even that can mess up your relationship with food. I'm talking about the TikTok influencers that were skinny to begin with, but started posting their what I eat in a days when the early 2000s body became desirable again. They show cucumbers on rice crackers and meals that are not efficient for the human body. Maybe I'm wrong and have my own issues to work on. I do. But this content is being shown to such a wide audience, and it's not healthy. They give you tips and tricks to feel fuller throughout the day and how they fast, etc. When you watch their content, it's so clear that they're constantly body checking, etc. I know they asked life hack, but they offer so many hacks to stay skinny that I had to go on a rant. Sorry. Story 114. Squeegeeing yourself off with your hands before you dry yourself with a towel to save time. Just using a towel is quicker, even if the towel is already damp. Also, those little soap nuggets for hiking. Easier just to use regular bar soap in a plastic bag. Story 115. Hack. Posting about how no one in the comments understands the prompt on Reddit does in fact almost always get a fistful of upvotes, but is not actually helpful to the conversation at all. Seriously though, like a solid third of the comments here are that, over and over again. We get it. Post a better one if none of them are good, FFFs. Story 116. I personally dislike this. 2 months lock-in, grind, 16 hours deep work lifestyle. Exactly, this is how you get a burnout. I think one should set priorities and keep everything in balance. Why earn money when you do not have the mental capacity for fun anymore? Story 117. Just run. People run naturally in regard to getting fit. Sorry, son. Modern civilization broke that camel's back. Story 118. If you want to come, if you want a job, just show up to work and they will realize how valuable you are and hire you. My grandpa. Story 119. Putting things into the mouth of someone who is having a seizure. It's incredibly dangerous, yet this misinformation is still spread. Story 120. Don't give up. If you know that there is almost no possibility, then don't waste your time and rather focus on something else. Story 121. To play it safe, go to university, etc. Especially if you are young, you still have very little to use and all time in the world to do something else if your plan doesn't work out. I am not talking about gambling your savings as an 18-year-old in the casino, but rather being restricting yourself because you might lose a year. Story 122. Crushing the god-darn toilet paper roll so it doesn't unroll. Yeah, I know. The entire point of it being on a roller. Story 123. Just be yourself. The thing is, many persons' biggest problem are their own selves. And also, this advice tends to come from people who are attractive or confident to begin with. Yeah, no shoot, you being yourself works for you. It's a big part of why the red pill manosphere shills attract so many people. Because their advice is first, improve yourself, which is good advice, but then they use that working out to shill their crap theories and philosophies. Story 124. Option trading can give you a huge financial gain with little to no effort. It is also 9 luck-based, and most people end up ruining their financial well-being by doing it. Story 125. Dollar cost averaging if you already have money sitting on the side. You are just statistically losing money to appease your emotions. A lot of good investing is about resisting your emotions because our brains are hardwired to be statistically biased. Story 126. It's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask permission. When people advise others to do something that's knowingly unethical or dishonest and then just apologize later after the deed is done, let's just turn us all into little sociopaths who look at everything as transactional and do whatever the hell we want, knowing it's the wrong thing to do. Terrible advice that people used to laugh about and then do the worst kind of things. Story 127. Always pee before you leave, even if you don't have to go, just in case. As a pelvic floor therapist, please don't. If you keep making a habit of going when you don't have to, you will decrease your bladder's tolerance to holding pee and create issues down the line. Unless you are a child who is still learning their body signals or you're going on a long road trip, don't go if you don't have to. Story 128. Personally, I've never had any luck with the DIY cleaning stuff. You know, like baking powder and vinegar. It doesn't really help my drains and it doesn't clean silver or whatever. But hey, maybe that's just me. There's a million more life hacks that probably suck jerk, but I don't think I recall any of them right now. Story 129. Whenever you travel to a new area, The first thing you should do is eat the street food to get your stomach accustomed. Cool thing to say to people going to places like Taipei or big clean cities, but a lot of places that can seriously ruin your week. Story 130. You need to get tipsy and laid. By doing the first, you cannot give consent for the second. And as a man, you could be equally tipsy as her and still be seen as the aggressor. Story 131. People will talk about refusing promotions and salary increases so they can stay in a lower tax bracket, but that's not how tax brackets work. You're not going to make more money and take home less money. Story 132. Blowing into cartridges of your old video games. Won't do shoot. In the worst case, you spit saliva onto the reading pins at the bottom of the game cartridge. What does the trick is reseating or wiggling the cart in the ZIF connector. Story 133. Taking super high levels of vitamin C to rescue your immune system at the first sign of a cold. Vitamin C can boost your immune system a tiny amount if you are vitamin C deficient, which most people in the 21st century are not. But those kinds of supplements, you're not going to double your white blood cell count or whatever. Too much vitamin C can actually give you bad diarrhea, which is not a great combo with the cold. Story 134. Do not exempt yourself from federal tax withholdings when you're W-4. You are not sticking to the man. You will still owe taxes, and if you try to fudge them over, they will take your house, your wages, and clear out your bank accounts. Story 135. Independence and space are great, but many people have obsession with independence, and that creates loneliness and isolation. And long-term loneliness and isolation is not meant for everyone. But in the name of independence, so many times own family members, parents, forcefully send a person away from their happy space permanently. And if that person is not comfortable, then loneliness and isolation destroys them, and they develop depression and other mental health issues. Story 136. Automotive hacks that are baloney. Why they're baloney from a 10-year mechanic in the Rust Belt. Hack. You can use transmission fluid to clean your cloudy headlights back to new with just a rag fluid. Reality. The detergents inside the transmission fluid are very strong, and the film it leaves behind has a lensing effect which will immediately go away upon regular driving. Temporary at best, environmentally unfriendly, and cost ineffective. Solution. Just like any paint correction, rust removal, or wood scratch repair, you need to cut down a few layers of headlight housing to ensure all the scratches and grooves have been leveled out. Then you just polish the surface for a clean, transparent surface. Hack. You can take a lighter to your windshield wiper blades to renew them instead of buying new ones. Reality. You are just doing a controlled melt on the existing rubber silicone. In some instances, this will restore some of the effectiveness of the wiper blades. The fix is very temporary, as modern wipers have microcuts and sipes that help evacuate water more efficiently than a straight, flat surface wiper does. Solution. Check the wipers on your vehicle. There is a good chance that the wiper and the silicone blade insert are separate parts that can be purchased either as one combined unit or as separate refills. You don't actually need to remove the entire wiper to replace the blade portion. Fun fact. Doesn't apply to traditional old-style wipers. Hack. You should idle your car in the morning to warm it up before driving. That way you don't have to sit in a cold car waiting for it to warm up. Reality. You should let your vehicle idle for 15 to 30 seconds after startup and then proceed to driving. Excessive idling is actually worse for your engine in the long run because oil pressure is generated in a linear relationship to RPM, meaning as RPM goes up, oil pressure goes up too. When you are idling, it is at its lowest, meaning it is providing the least amount of lubrication to the bearings journals than any other time. Solution. Idle for 15-30s after startup, then maintain less than 3,000 RPM while driving until the blue thermostat, sometimes looks like a blue key in water, light turns off. Once off, you are safe to resume normal driving. Also, the car will heat up faster this way and be exposed to less risk of thermal expansion-related wear tear due to less overall time spent exposed to dynamic temperatures. Story 137. In Australia, we still get frosty mornings, and sometimes car windscreens freeze over. An ex-colleague once decided to get rid of the ice by pouring boiling water over it. Needless to say, he didn't have to worry about a frozen windscreen. Story 138. You have to forgive someone else to heal. F that, forgiving and loving yourself and giving yourself grace is way more important to heal. Story 139. Since inflation exists, you should spend all your money as fast as possible while it has the most value. Story 140. Yeah, but also you can't still stay up reasonably late, get 8 hours of sleep, and wake up early. For me, I go to bed at 10 p.m., then wake up at 6 a.m. for work. Story 141. I am so confused. I am Aussie and have milk in my coffee. It is the same milk I put on cereal and pour into a glass when I want a drink of milk. I should just look it up. But I have types this far, lol. WTF is creamer? And why don't you just put milk? Is creamer milk or actual cream? Story 142. To not take the insurance on rental cars. All it takes is one little problem with a rental and you'll understand. Story 143. So many self-help courses, apps, and yoga studios selling your own breath back to you like taking deep breaths is a cure-all. When some gurus suggest this, I now immediately assume they have no other demonstrable skill to offer the world. Story 144. I don't even know, but for example, I often hear from various bloggers who say that a certain millionaire became a millionaire because he decided to give up coffee in coffee shops or deliveries, and this helped him become richer. However, the truth is that this only increases savings, but it does not magically increase earnings. Story 145. Job hopping to get higher salaries. There aren't enough open jobs to do this. Buckle down, folks. We got some time before we can do that again. Answer. As a teacher in a place where it's bands paid, you are on a band. You can move up bands with experience, but only a limited amount. Not only can you not do this, it makes it harder to move jobs. Your new employer legally has to pay you the same as your old employer did when you left. But the still low in terms of many jobs, pay progression means that they would have to pay you more than recruiting someone who hasn't had that pay progression you've had since you started with your old employer. So you can have a more expensive experienced teacher, or you can employ a less experienced teacher, who also is more likely to just accept your bullshit and less likely to have kids who will get in the way of working all night to do the same job for less money. Yes, you'd love someone who is really great to get great results, but you have approximately to cost of 6 pens and a calculator left in your budget this year. Ditto for a lot of public sector roles. Story 146. Sleep when you're dead. It sounds motivational, but in reality, lack of sleep ruins productivity, focus, and health. What's the worst hack you've ever tried that totally backfired? Story 147. Lying to vendors and saying that your wedding is a different kind of event to avoid wedding prices. This is how you end up getting vendors who sue you for breach of contract or walk out on your wedding day, leaving you with nothing. You might be able to get away with it for vendors who are not going to be present on site. If you're just picking something up, that's fine. But anybody who's going to be with you on your wedding day is going to know that it's a fudge wedding. Moreover, weddings are once-in-a-lifetime events, and I'm not defending all wedding pricing, but vendors tend to spend a lot more time and energy to ensure that they have multiple backups, both in terms of equipment and staff in case there's an emergency, and that everything is absolutely perfect because they know you only get one shot at it. Story 148. Everyone does this when flying, thinking that being first on a plane matters. It does not mean anything. The plane don't leave till all people are seated, so being first means nothing. Story 149. All the how to sit in first class for free so-called life hacks, all of them are wrong. They are just stupid, like dress in a suit and be really nice to gate agents, or fake illness and claim you need to lie flat, or even borderline criminal like break your seatbelt and force them to move you to a seat up front. Story 150. Lie to your insurance company to get cheaper rates, using the wrong address, putting it under someone else's name, not listing drivers who live in your house or regularly drive your car, etc. Or the dumbest is probably lying about what happened during an accident. Your adjuster wasn't born yesterday. They're going to find out that you were driving for Uber, or that the bumper that you're trying to fix was already fudged up 3 months ago. It's all fraud. Nobody likes what happens after they get caught committing fraud. Story 151. Alkaline water. The biggest joke of all, your stomach acid has a pH of 2.0. Do you really think alkaline water has a chance? Story 152. Neglect home time. Focus on work. Money, money, money. Take a random vacation that'll fix everything. Do it or someone will do it cheaper. Bullshit. If you ain't around for family, especially kids, there's going to be troubles. Story 153. Minding your business. If something happens like a person fainting, most want help or at least check on them. Just look away and continue on. Sometimes your voice is needed in situations. I also get the "am not qualified to handle the" doesn't mean you can't direct help to that person. Story 154. Anything that asks you to, or worse, promises you that somehow work-life balance can be achieved and you will be best in career and personal life is going to be terrible. Story 155. Eating the water bottle after you drink all the water. IDK, why people do this? Like, sure, it's better than it ending up in a landfill, but I'm sure it's terrible for you. Story 156. Vasectomies should not be considered a temporary birth control and are not easily reversible when you suddenly want to have kids. Story 157. Telling people to use "I was on an NDA" to explain an employment gap. If you're really on an NDA, you can still describe roughly what you did in anonymous terms. Story 158. Anything for weight loss that doesn't boil down to burn more calories than you take in. There's no magic pill, no magic diet, no juicing, shakes, etc. Burn more calories than you take in. Unless you want to cut off a limb, that's it. Story 159. Getting private health insurance in Australia. We have free health care. Why pay for all the bells and whistles? Story 160. Never talk to the police. Like, yeah, if you're doing something illegal and don't want them to discover it or dig yourself a bigger hole, sure. Or if you're already in cuffs and or being charged with a crime, definitely shut up and get a lawyer. But if you get pulled over and you're confident the only thing you did wrong was a minor traffic violation, being friendly and compliant will give you a much better chance of not getting a ticket than immediately clamming up. Cops have egos and have your fate in their hands. If you hand over your ID and refuse to say anything else, invoke your Fifth Amendment rights when they ask their basic phishing questions, they're going to get annoyed, get suspicious, think you're a jerk, and almost certainly give you a citation for whatever they stopped you for, and potentially other things they observe. Story 161. Putting your wet phone in rice. Not only does it not work, it's actively harmful. Rice is not a sponge. It barely soaks up water. It's physically touching. Never mind sucking water out from inside the phone. It actually traps the water around the phone and doesn't let it go anywhere, increasing the chances of components oxidizing. You would be 100x better off putting your phone in front of a fan or doing nothing at all. Story 162. From what I understand, running does more harm than good. I am sure everyone could run, but doesn't mean they should. Story 163. Going carnivore. Though whenever I hear someone claim that they're doing carnivore, it helps me avoid one more not very smart person. Story 164. Most legal life hacks surrounding police are just not real. Like if pulled over, tell cop XYZ to get out a ticket rarely work. Same with a lot of legal stuff. One common one I hear is if you request vacation work, must give it to you, or you are legally entitled to scheduled breaks. Neither are true where I live. Story 165. The whole sleep when you're dead mentality is genuinely harmful and chronic. Sleep deprivation will absolutely wreck your physical and mental health over time. Story 166. Never go to bed angry. That's a pathetic advice to follow when it comes to a couple. And I find one of the two, from man or woman in couple, follows this and they want to resolve the things at the moment, but sometimes it's better to get a break and resolve things, maybe next day in the morning, in fresh air, fresh food, and fresh mood. Story 167. Wake up at 5 a.m. every day so you can be productive. Get enough sleep, people. If you get up earlier, you need to go to bed earlier. Story 168. Mexican floor cleaning life hack. The one with splashing atrocious amount of water on the floor. If you live in a colder climate, your floor is made out of different materials, and you are just speed running, getting black mold. Story 169. On cleaning TikTok, people were copying what people from Mexico were doing, which involved dumping buckets of water in their floors and scrubbing them. Not a hack so much, but if people actually did follow it, the floors got ruined and moldy. Houses in Mexico are built different and have drains in the floor. Perhaps not all, but the ones who could do the hack did and were fine. Story 170. I would say peeing on a wound or sting marks O'Neill in movies, and you hope someone takes substances so you don't feel much when urine makes more venom to be released. That's if you don't get some kind of infection, cause pee is not sterile, even children's whatever some say. Ironing clothes with hair straightening, spoon on pot to fight foaming, beating on motor starter, jump-starting car with both ends hooked to PIO's neg instead of car body metal point. Jerking off a bit to stop urge to urinate, storing batteries in fridge, ignoring the pain has no gain. Trust me, olive and motor oil as sunscreen, and other misunderstood DIY skincare or remedies from household stuff, and using nail polish as fix for keys, locks, or chips, which reminds me to tell you not to shoot locks or lock it. It's because it doesn't work and will make some weird shoot, Ricochet or render lock unlockable. Story 171. Worst life hack? Go with the flow. Especially in dating, you sense red flags, something feels off, but your friend says just go with the flow. That's how you end up ignoring your instincts and staying in situations you should have walked away from. Story 172. Grind harder. Just grind, bro. All work, no play, cause you ain't a meanie boy. Work hard, stay hard. Every meaningless variation on the above. Story 173. Overall, the hustle culture life hack. Just staying busy all the time isn't always the answer. It's perfectly fine to enjoy yourself and relax when deserving. Story 174. Don't call your wedding a family reunion to get lower prices on services. When the vendors get there and it's obviously a wedding, you'll be in breach of contract and they'll probably just walk out. You can do this for goods that you order by and bring to the event yourself, like your dress or a decor item, or a cake if the venue lets you bring your own. But if the vendor is going to be actually present, don't do it. Story 175. I suppose this isn't considered widely accepted, but I used to see so many financial gurus on social media talk about hacking your taxes by starting an LLC so you can write off your personal expenses as business expenses. I haven't seen as many in a while, so I'm not sure if that's just my social media feeds getting cleaned up or if this shoot take is finally dying out. And this one also isn't widely accepted per se, but was briefly popular and got way more traction than it should have. The infinite ATM hack. The internet is rife with financial misinformation. Story 176. Recently saw a life tip on Reddit where somebody suggested, instead of apologizing, say thank you. So instead of sorry I'm late, say thanks for waiting. I live in LA where punctuality is almost looked down upon. I much prefer sorry, acknowledge it was not cool to make somebody wait for you for 15, 30, even 60 minutes. I was trying to think of a situation where a thank you for would actually be the better way to go when sorry was even considered because, maybe you did somebody dirty to some extent. Thank you for not being mad I crashed your car. Thank you for understanding I can't pay rent on time. I mean, maybe say sorry first, then thank them if they show a willingness to forget. Story 177. Follow your passion in terms of your career goals. Pretty limited to like 0.1 of one that can make a decent living. Story 178. I deal with a lot of DUI cases. Something I hear is, even if you're totally sober, don't accept the breathalyzer when you're being pulled over or at the station. Story 179. That one Army video taught you guys so well. I'm glad that Run from a Knife Fight has been added to the Redditor knowledge pool alongside dolphins have been observed to violation in the wild. Story 180. Moving in silence isn't entirely terrible advice. But if you aren't mindful of those who require impressing and demonstration, your work is likely to be overlooked, undervalued, and taken for granted. Trying too hard to follow that axiom fudged my last relationship, and while we're relatively friendly now, she literally couldn't see what I was doing until she had left and was on her own. Bills, investments, cooking, miscellaneous life maintenance headaches she never had to deal with. Story 181. Follow your dream. Most dreams are from middle school. Find something that will pay your bills. Then start looking at what can become why you are passion. Maybe with time you can get these to overlap. But odds are you aren't good enough in your dream job. Yep, I'm looking at those HS kids that keep getting told to go pro in basketball. Story 182. To take you melatonin only 30 minutes before you go to sleep. You should take it at least 2 hours before. Was told this by a nurse and it was a game changer, like yawning and feeling really sleepy at 10 p.m. when I usually never sleep before midnight or 1 a.m. Story 183. It's funny that top comments here are asking for disambiguation between life hacks and general advice, when life hack is just a made-up phrase by idiots for engagement on YouTube. Even around the advent of the phrase, I don't remember seeing anything that was a life hack. It was just people doing obtuse shoot with their belongings or household items for views. Story 184. Self-defense for women, it's actually very dangerous because most of women are not physically capable to beat up whoever attacks them. Story 185. Getting to know in a negotiation, especially a job offer, often leads to the deal falling apart in some way, or some kind of resentment or distrust further on. Story 186. Putting toothpaste on pimples works terribly. I can attest to this, unfortunately. Putting honey on your face also doesn't work. So I would say most skincare life hacks are highly variable. Stick to the RX stuff from your derm. Also, some people who reuse daily contacts to save money, that's a terrible life hack. It could potentially make you blind. What I do instead to save 20 is to buy the Costco generic version of your preferred contact instead. And going out on a limb, but quitting your job, starting your own company is also terrible life advice. Unless you get into an accelerator, raise money, have life savings, so on. Story 187. I think the run the dishwasher twice advice for those struggling with mental health is terrible advice. As someone who has been there, it's kicking the can down the road to where you will eventually find a collection of cans amassed to the extent that it feels insurmountable. We all are getting by the best way we know how, but making things tomorrow's problem typically means that it only has time to get more difficult. Story 188. Negotiating with your doctor, especially if it's a small specialty practice. You might be able to get away with that with a big hospital system, but they will laugh you right out of the room if you try that with a podiatrist. Story 189. Go to college, get married, have kids, buy a house. Great advice 50 years ago. Not so much now. Best you can do is 2 of the 4. That's it for this video. Don't forget to support Vancher and my second channel, Vancher. See you soon.